What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now PS Edition. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to discuss if Kingdom Hearts ReMind is worth it. So Kingdom Hearts ReMind obviously came out on the PS4 yesterday, and so to celebrate it, I kind of want to have a video mildly bashing it a little bit, but not really. It's more of a discussion about this game in general. You know, this is, I'd say, it being late January, this is the first big thing that came out in 2020. So if you're a PS4 owner, you know, you've had your console, you've been playing games from last year, and now this comes, and the question is, and we even talked about this on podcast now, like, is it worth the price? Okay, is it overpriced in general, right? Because it's $30. That's quite expensive in general. It's around the normal area for what I would expect a DLC to be, but what people have found, of course, and even leading into this game releasing, people have brought up, I guess, the idea of a lot of this stuff. Hey, should this have stuff have been in the game from the beginning, right? You hear that a lot. A lot of people had said, you know, I think some of these boss fights and these kind of things should have been in this game to start with, or then I guess you could always argue the whole story aspect of it, that if it's a DLC story, why wasn't the story included? There's definitely things you can say about it, and I'm not here to disagree with you. I'm not here to tell you it's wrong. It's just kind of a general discussion. One of the things I want to zero in on for this video, now when we made this video on Podcast Now, we didn't know its length. We talked, I think I even mentioned in one of those videos, it also depends on how long, like how many hours you can enjoy it. And I believe I said I expect it to be like a 10-hour thing. Well, sadly, it's not actually. Some people have beaten it as quickly as 4 hours. Now, there are some boss battles that do take some time. If you do everything in the game, I've seen people say 5, 6, 7 hours. So if you do everything ReMind has to offer, you're looking at, let's say, like a 5 to 7 hour experience. Now, to be quite honest with you, that is not a ton. I mean, just flat out, it's not a ton. I was kind of expecting 10. It's hard to judge. To be quite honest with you, it is hard to judge because, especially in and I'm only talking about my history, just my opinion in general, right? If you guys think that that's not enough time versus the dollar, that's totally up to you, and that's, you can think whatever you want to think. For me, I don't buy that many DLCs. Story DLCs for like single player stuff, I think are a little bit, for a game like this, for a story driven, kind of linear game like this. They're not rare, but they don't happen as often. I'm currently, and I said this in yesterday's video, I'm currently playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and I had bought actually the Frozen Wilds. I bought that DLC before I even got close to beating Horizon. So when I went back to replay Horizon, I already had that loaded. So I'm going to go straight from Horizon into the DLC. But that's an open world, and that open world, that the DLC is like 15 to 20 hours of content if you do everything. However, you have an example of like Spider-Man, last year's Spider-Man, or I guess 2018. So I keep thinking we're in 2019. 2018 Spider-Man, it had 3 DLC packs, which I think you could buy together for around $25, and they're not insanely long. But again, for every example of that, you have like The Witcher. Remember The Witcher's DLCs? So like open world games, when they get DLCs, they're normally rather substantial, but the kicker is they're around the same price. So again, like at the end of the day, you just have to debate with yourself. You have to figure out for yourself, how much is your time worth? How much money do you put on your time? Because again, like you could spend, say, and even this isn't right, but $25 on like the Frozen Wilds for Horizon, which I don't even think that's the price anymore, but you do that, or say we even upscale it to $30. So if you bought that for $30, you'd be getting 15 to 20 hours of content. If you buy ReMind, you're spending $30, you're getting like 4 or 5 hours of content. So that is substantially lower, but the idea, I guess, is with ReMind is it's just a different game, right? You have to, I guess, and this is, I think, my opinion, even in my case, I think I judge these games differently. Okay, again, if it's an open world game and it has DLC, I expect more stuff in it. Not necessarily because I expect it, but because that's generally what we get. If it's an open world game, it's already 30, 40, 50, 60 hours long. And then if we get DLCs, normally it adds 15, 20, 25. Like it adds all those amount of hours. That's just kind of because you're adding on to something already super big and you kind of expect super big stuff in general with that property. Whereas with Kingdom Hearts, and Kingdom Hearts it was a long game, but it's not the longest game in the world. I think I beat it in like 20 to 24 hours, somewhere in that range. So it is, for a story-driven game, it is rather long. 20 to 25 hours is a long time. But then to have its DLC be half the price, $30 versus $60 for Kingdom Hearts 3, and be like a fifth, almost, a fourth or a fifth of its runtime, when I think about it like that, they are kind of scamming you. And again, that's just my personal opinion. Now, here's the deal. I own this game. I've played, by the time you guys are seeing this, I've played this game a little bit. So maybe I'm hypocritical. Maybe I'm being a hypocrite, but I did actually buy this. I purchased it for the full $30. I actually purchased Kingdom Hearts 3 last year, like the collector, that $80 edition that came with like the art book. I bought that too. So I love Kingdom Hearts, okay? I really do. The story is absolutely insane, and I have so much to say about that, but I do love Kingdom Hearts. I'm going to support them. I'm going to buy their products anyway. I'm not the biggest fan of all those collection variations that they like to put out, but for me, ReMind was always like a guaranteed buy just because I wanted to experience whatever was next with the story. And ultimately, that's probably the biggest catch. I feel like because it's Nomura and because it's Kingdom Hearts, because it's so out there, I think the biggest thing with Kingdom Hearts is ReMind. When you think of, is it worth the price? It's maybe not even necessarily how long it takes you to beat. It's just the fact that it's more of it. And maybe it's not like scammy, but maybe that's more predatory, that like it's, we rarely get Kingdom Hearts. And so when Kingdom Hearts has come out, it's like a rare occurrence, right? Like everybody gets excited, and it's like a big deal because these things don't come out all that often, right? They're very big deals when they release. They're kind of like holidays, right? So when you get one, it's an important thing. So I feel like, honestly, ReMind is still kind of riding the waves of Kingdom Hearts 3, where it's like, that was a huge thing. Obviously, you needed to get Kingdom Hearts 3, no matter if you understand the story or if you don't. And then ReMind is kind of like, hey, like, we're expanding the story. Like, we're going to add some story. And there is very important story elements you learn in ReMind, very vital even, and it will probably lead right into a Birth by Sleep 2 or a Kingdom Hearts 4 or whatever comes next. It's going to be very vital to that. So it's kind of like you need to experience it, whether you watch it, and that's another thing, you could just watch it on YouTube, whether you watch it or whether you play it, you kind of need to experience it in one way or the other for the future, really, for like the longevity of Kingdom Hearts. So it's an interesting question. It's tough. I'm not even ready to give my answer. Like I said, I bought it full price. To be quite honest with you, knowing the length of time now, I don't think it's probably worth the price. I think it is actually too short. Just factually, I was expecting longer. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I went in with the wrong expectations, but I was kind of expecting like 10 hours at the least, and instead we get like 4, like at least you're going to spend 4 hours in this game, but it could only be 4, 5, 6 hours. And to me, I don't necessarily know if that's enough time, but I bought it. It's too late for me. So I'm going to play it. Hopefully I'm going to enjoy it. And that's the other thing, too. A lot of people seem to be very, very disappointed with what they got in it, as well as Kingdom Hearts 3. But again, that's just people's opinions. You could have that opinion or you could not. Totally up to you. So guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think it's worth it? Do you think ReMind is worth the price? Do you think it's worth the price of admission to play this? Whether you think it's disappointing or whether you think it's overpriced in general, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the bell icon, and turn on all notifications so you know when these videos go up. They go up every single weekday, so we will see you guys for Monday's topic.